Hello and welcome. My name is Meepolis, she, they, and this is Literally Graphic. And today I'm looking at Afrocentric, volumes 1 to 4 by Juliana, Jules Smith, Ronald Nelson, and Mike Hampton. Content notes for gentrification, police violence, elder death, and racism. And for today's Black creators, we are circling back to BookTube again, and I wanted to highlight Marita Reed's solid TBR, hauls, and readathon content. Looking at their bios on the book's website, each of the creators is described as follows. Juliana Jules Smith is a writer, cultural worker, and educator. She earned her BA in sociology and a MA in ethnic studies. As an educator in community colleges, Smith decided she could reach more of her students through an unorthodox medium, a comic book. She created Afrocentric as a way to challenge students and readers alike about the presumptions around race, class, gender, and sexuality through characters' dialogue. Ronald Nelson is an illustrator originally from New York City. Ronald's most recent exhibits were at the Adobe Art Center in Castro Valley and Jazz Heritage Center in San Francisco. He's created artwork for Trauma Films, working on and drawing the comic adaptations for their movies, most notably for Romeo and Juliet, Terror Firmer, and Sergeant Kabukiman. A multifaceted, multi-talented designer, he designed the logo for the Forsyth Mortgage Company. Ronald's areas of expertise are in the fields of portrait drawing and sequential art. He is also very proficient as a storyboard artist and cartoonist. He's created work in the fields of technical illustration, licensing, tattoo, flash, and logo design. The letterer and colorist Mike Hampton has been a self-published comic book artist and writer for over the past 10 years. Some of his titles include Hot Zombie Chicks, Captain A-Hole, and his newest effort, Eagle Eye and the Quail. Keywords that I would use to describe this short series include contemporary, commentary, university, protest, and digital social networks. The official description is as follows. This unflinching visual and literary tour de force tackles the most pressing issues of the day, including racism, patriarchy, gentrification, police violence, and the housing crisis, with humor and biting satire. When gentrification strikes a neighborhood surrounding Ronald Reagan University, Nema Pepper recruits a group of disgruntled undergrads of color to launch the first anti-gentrification social networking site, mydiaspora.com. The motley crew is poised to fight back against the expensive avocado toast, muted Prius cars, exorbitant rent, and cultural appropriation. Whether Nema and the gang are transforming social media, leading protests, fighting rent hikes, or working as quote, racial translators, end quote. These students at Ronald Reagan University combine their technical savvy and Black millennial sensibilities with their individual backgrounds, goals, and aspirations. An interesting book to be reading just after I finished up The Hard Tomorrow, review coming out soon, both of which include a lot of protesting. The art in this book reminded me of Incognito, although the scale was generally a bit more zoomed in. The general consensus seems to be that the fourth volume has the best art, and I tend to agree. As far as wordiness, etc., I did struggle a bit with the word balloon order, which struck me as a bit odd. Otherwise, the level of wordiness was very good, and all the dialogue was pretty punchy and full of meaning. Focusing in on the intersections I try and highlight with everything that I read, race is obviously a central theme to the series, and there's a lot of racial diversity integrated into the story in a way that I don't usually see, even in the leftist political comic space. The representation of white people seemed pretty fair, in my humble opinion. Same with class, which is fairly central to the plotline, which revolves around the launch of an anti-gentrification social media network. Gender has a little bit less diversity of representation and appears to remain rather binary. And while the sexuality of most of the characters remains largely a mystery, Renee Angé Brown's character bio describes her as a lesbian. As far as ability versus disability went, it felt largely ignored and underexplored, as per usual. And to conclude my thoughts after this volume, Afrocentric appears to transition to a free online web strip format, which, dipping my toes into it, seems to work a lot better. Trying to communicate the ideas of this comic in more of a story format felt very choppy in this case, and so distilling things down into more punchy, bite-sized pieces does feel more right to me. I must admit to being a bit skeptical about the central premise of an anti-gentrification social media site as well. I feel like more explanation of the site might have gone a long way. As it is, most of the plot revolves around the launch of the site as a process of organizing events. Some characters appear to be explaining the site, but that didn't really seem to help me very much. Your mileage may vary, especially since this book was written by someone much closer to Silicon Valley than myself. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars, but interested to see where Juliana, Jules, Smith, and company turn up next. Should be interesting. Bye y'all, keep reading and resist white supremacy. And as always, Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.